I have 3 days to myself in England, and this turned out to be one of the most unique trips I've ever taken. The riding was epic, and I'm pretty sure this forest is enchanted. We have a lot to unpack. Today we're on a solo trip to England. I was here for a wedding and I found myself with a couple of extra days. This is Lyndhurst. It's a historic town about 90 minutes outside of London. I've been to England a couple of times now, but I've really never properly explored outside of London, and I felt determined to change that on this trip. And like any good adventure, this one kicks off in a beautiful bike shop. This is the Woods Cyclery, and I was starting my trip off here because they were setting me up to go for a ride and also supplying me with caffeine. But first, this shop is a must-see. This is a world-class bike shop. If you haven't seen the Woods before, I'd definitely go check out the build gallery on their website or social media. They have such a great eye for aesthetically pleasing bikes that also don't compromise on adventure readiness. They're also my go-to source for some of the best British steel out there, and that's something I was really excited to see in person. Starting with some frames from Stooge Cycles. They do some of the burliest ATB style frames that I think I've ever seen. These are the new Rune Nightwood frames. Our internet pal Probably Riding just built one of these up on his channel, so go check that out. It's really nice. Some more UK goodness here from Singular Cycles and Brother Cycles. They had a lot of stuff from Brother actually, which was really cool to see. Oh, and over here in the window there was this really cool raw finish frame from Stayer Cycles. I believe this was their ATB model, which is appropriately named the Stay TB. Well played. There were a ton of dreamy frames and fully built bikes from all over the world. There was a strong showing from North America in the house, and we even have an elusive Susie Longbolt sighting. And over in Component Land, they had all the gear we love, stuff that really blends style and adventure well. The Woods is located in a very unique spot, and one of my favorite things about visiting shops is you can really get a feel for the type of riding the community does. It's beautiful here, but in a very rugged way, and everything that they've curated at the Woods reflects that. So I grabbed some coffee before heading out on my ride, and the cafe is actually right inside the shop. I started with a pour over from their local roastery Bad Hands, which was delicious, but my jet lag was really kicking, so I needed a second coffee, and look at this. I did not expect this. Who knew you could even achieve that much detail in foam? Alright, peak caffeination achieved, and it's time to ride. This is the New Forest, and this is exactly why I wanted to make my way up here. It's an ancient woodland, and some of these trees are thought to be over 1,000 years old. Not that we have any shortage of forests back home in Canada, but I wanted to make my way to this one because it's full of free-roaming ponies. But before we get too deep into this enchanted forest, I have to give props to the Woods for setting me up and making this ride possible. I didn't get just any rental bike. A staff member actually lent me his personal Ritchey Ascent, and they set me up with a great route and even rode with me to the trailhead. They made me feel right at home. Alright, I'm exactly, I think 5 minutes in. So the conditions started out wet, as you can see, but I was excited because it felt like proper British weather. I imagine if you live here, you're probably really used to riding these forest roads in muddy conditions, so it made me feel like I got the authentic New Forest experience. Locals, let me know in the comments if you agree. Honestly, my favorite trips I've taken have been to places like Scotland and Norway. Not exactly where you'd go if you're chasing the sun, but that appears to be a feature and not a bug for me. I was really enjoying slip sliding around on these roads, and the Ascent was the perfect tool for the job. It was also really peaceful out here. I only crossed paths with a handful of folks until I came across some friends on the trail. Oh, Sebastian. So these are the New Forest Ponies. They're a native breed to this area, and there's about 5,000 of them that just roam free. Legally, a group of local people own them, but they're fully wild and spend their lives grazing this forest. It was pretty spectacular to observe wild horses for the first time, though it did take some getting used to ride so close to them. And where were these ones going in such an orderly fashion? I know Brits love to queue, but does that extend to the horses? I was telling Brennan that if I got to see a few horses, I'd be super excited, but I can't overstate how much this place is overflowing with ponies. I must have seen at least 50 of them on this ride. Let's get a better look at the horsepower I'm working with today. Sorry, couldn't resist. So Robbie from the Woods lent me his Ritchey Ascent, and this thing was so dialed in. The first thing you'll notice is these huge Mezcal tires. They're 650B, and I'm pretty sure they were 2.6, one of our favorite tires. The cockpit was really comfy. He had these Nito and Chromworks KT bars on the bike. I really liked the amount of sweep on these. It wasn't too far back. Front and rear racks as you see, and a big Wizardworks bag up front which had tons of storage. I really appreciated that. I kept popping my jacket on and off and it was super handy. We've got a Brooks B17 saddle and an interesting rear rack setup here. It looks kind of like a tumbleweed T-rack, but it might be custom, I'm not sure. And for gearing, we have an XT derailleur with a nice wide gear range. It was also set up with friction shifting, which I really enjoy. And honestly, this bike was just apocalypse ready, dynamo light and all. And I liked the color palette. The copper and brass accents just look right in this very Tolkien setting. 10 out of 10. Bars are so fun. So at this point, I came up on this water crossing, which was a lot deeper than it looks. And honestly, it's not my bottom bracket to drench. Oh, and bonus points, I accidentally left my camera in slow motion while I tried to tell you this whole story. So sadly for all of us, my brilliant trailside thoughts are lost to time. But basically I was telling you that I needed to get moving because I was losing light, the shop was closing soon, and I had a new route to figure out. Who littered? This video is brought to you by Insta360. A lot of the footage you just saw was brought to life by this action cam, the Insta360 Go Ultra. This is by far the easiest camera to travel with and capture your adventures. I've got the standard bundle here, so let's check out what you can expect out of the box. First things first, we have the camera itself. This is the standalone camera, and this is actually magnetic. And in the box, the first thing you'll see is this magnetic pendant. This is what I use in order to discreetly and easily film on the bike. Just feed it under whatever you're wearing. Good to go. You also get this quick release safety cord, which is just a nice little insurance policy when you're shooting with that necklace. And then we have the action pod. So the standalone camera goes right in like this. And if you're filming with those together, you also have a flippable screen so you can see what you're shooting. And once you've turned it on, set up the language, the date, all that good stuff, you're ready to go with flow state stabilization and 360 horizon lock already on. It's also easy to dial in custom settings. I like to switch mine to 24 frames per second, for example. Also in the box, you get the magnetic easy clip here. We really like this for the brim of a hat, which is just another easy hands-free POV angle. The Go Ultra also comes with this lens guard. It screws right onto the standalone camera. This camera is ready for whatever you want to throw at it. If you want to pick one of these up, or any Insta360 camera, head to their website and use the code BIKEBREATH at checkout for a free gift while supplies last. All right, back to the video. Things took an interesting turn on my second day in the countryside. If horses weren't enough, we're moving on to birds now. Keep up. I met with some friends on the second day and we went for a hawk walk. What's a hawk walk? Well, basically a falconer let us interact with and hang out with his birds. This was my first time interacting with a bird one-on-one like this, and it was such a cool experience. We were able to hold them, touch their feathers, and work with them to build trust. 2 of them were younger, and it was an important part of their training to learn to trust other humans. Actually, the Harris hawk will remember me as long as he lives, so not trying to brag, but we're besties.
Now she's saying she's hungry again. She's going, so just lower her down a little, and you hand comes up there. There we go. There you go. And she steps up. Still watching the dogs. That's it. There you go. She's doing a great job. And we're building that trust in people. All right. He looks. He evaluates. He goes, yeah, that's okay. That's cool. There he does. Does it again. Looks. Evaluates. Goes, yeah, that's cool. Goal! First goal of the season. Bring your hand this way, isn't it? Mm-hmm. All right. There we go. So it's in silhouette. There we go. Then he's not flying towards your body, and the hand doesn't disappear into your jacket.
I see.
That's it. We look at his feet. They're nice and relaxed. Right, he's 6 years old. He's going to live probably until he's around about 21, 22.
This was such a unique experience. I'd love to hear, has anyone else done something like this before? I especially loved learning about their body language and seeing how they got comfortable with us after we were able to earn their trust. We got to meet a prairie falcon, a Harris hawk, a barn owl, and a barred owl, which it turns out are 2 different owls. I didn't realize prior to this that birds of prey like hawks are actually called raptors. Only birds with specialized hunting tools like exceptional eyesight, hooked beaks, and sharp talons are considered raptors. Actually, fun fact, sounds from a Harris hawk were used in Jurassic World, so I guess I got to hang with literal dinosaurs. How cool is that? Spinal Tap fans rejoice, we also visited Stonehenge, and it was way more majestic than their stage props. I expected to see a lot of folks that looked like this guy, but sadly only one guitar slung on someone's back was spotted. Anyway, I personally found it really interesting and profound to stand in ancient ceremonial grounds and just think about the reality of the times in which it was built and how it came to be. It's funny how many locals expected me to be disappointed, but my hot take is that Stonehenge has aura. The mystery is alive and well, complete with spooky crows. I had one more free morning before the wedding festivities kicked into high gear. Not really enough time to ride a bike, but I was able to line up a tattoo appointment. This spot's called Old Habits and it's in the Hackney area. I was here to see an artist I'd been following for a while called Mouse. There's something about getting a flash piece on a trip. I'm not really somebody who thinks all tattoos need to have a deep meaning. To me, it's more important to get something from an artist that I like that's reflective of their style. But in this case, I ended up with this tower from his flash. I'm super stoked about it. The line work and the placement on this one are just perfect. I spent the last few hours to myself wandering around the Peckham Rye area. This was such a cool neighborhood full of record stores, bookstores, and markets, but the highlight for me might have been this vintage poster exhibit at the Copeland Park Gallery. Before I wandered into this exhibit, I wasn't aware of the wild history of Polish movie posters. Basically, post-World War II, there was a thriving scene of artists working in Poland who were heavily influenced by a Warsaw-based artist named Granowski. Granowski basically ruled movie posters, and at that time, Poland's communist government heavily censored fine art. But the state-owned film industry hired artists to make artwork for movie posters, and they really didn't care what they looked like. So under that program and with that freedom, this incredibly unique visual style developed that kind of married fine art and commercial arts. I had so much fun looking around here, and it was more than just movie posters, so there was tons of stuff to see. As I was exploring, I kept thinking about how my best friend's wedding was about to get started, and how this was my 5th time visiting since she moved here over a decade ago. I love coming here. It's a massive perk to visit London and have a place to stay. It's really an expensive city. But it can be hard for one of your favorite people to be so far away. But you know how it goes. Someone meets someone and they follow their heart somewhere new. And it was a really beautiful thing to be here and celebrate that love all these years later. I feel so lucky to have friendships that have stood the test of time and distance. I heard something that stuck with me recently about relationships, that you need to care for the person more than you care about them staying who they were when you met, or where they were. So I found myself thinking how grateful I am to have chosen family that have stuck it out no matter where we're at. And if you've made it this far in the video, I'm grateful for you. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, or leave us a comment. It really helps us out. Thanks again to Insta360 for sponsoring the video. If you're going to pick anything up, don't forget to use the code BikeBreath at checkout on their site. We'll see you on the next one.